Mohamed, nothing in here to change the Fed's perspective on a December rate increase, perhaps. What about to change the Fed's perspective on the labour market?
So what this report will tell the Fed is, from a cyclical perspective, the labour market is doing well. It is adding jobs and wage growth is going up. So cyclically, everything's fine. Structurally, there's more warning in this employment report because the participation rate went down. And the hope had been that more people would re-enter the labour market, but that's not happening. So cyclically fine, structurally more challenging.
What about the argument that the 2.8% year-over-year wage gain would argue for perhaps not that much structural difficulty or structural change?
Well, what it tells you is there's less slack in the economy and in the labour market. Now, that's fine if it weren't for the fact that the employment to population ratio is below 60%. That's a multi-decade low in terms of where we are. So yes, it tells you on the wage front that things are fine, but there's less slack, which means that if we stay at this low level of employment to population, there'll be less people powering this economy forward in the future.
Mohamed, you said before the report it's just going to be a matter of time before basically both indicators, the participation rate or wages, head higher, or whether we actually know whether they've been impaired by structural factors such as demographics, globalization and robot displacement. Which way are you heading? Are you going for both heading higher, or are you going for the structural side?
My hope is both will head higher. My worry and my expectation is that wages will continue to go up, but the participation rate will disappoint. And that will simply emphasize that we have structural headwinds and that we need a policy response that goes well beyond relying just on central banks.
Paul Krugman spoke to us yesterday, Mohamed, and he said the Fed doesn't know what's coming down the road, doesn't know what's coming down the path, so it shouldn't be raising rates in December. Do you have any sympathies with that view?
So I have a sympathy with the view that we are facing unusual uncertainty, and it's economic, financial, institution, and political. So I have sympathy with that view. I have a lot less sympathy with that the Fed shouldn't move, because at some point, the collateral damage and unintended consequences of unconventional measures outweigh the benefits. And I think we've gotten to that point. Today's employment report tells you that absent a major shock to the markets because of the elections, the domestic indicators for the Fed suggest that they should hike in December.